Rikard, convincing start to the season, 2 victories out of 2 hard away games. How would you summarize those 2 games?
Yeah, when we first got the schedule, it looked pretty interesting because we're starting as the regular season champs and from last year, Lukko, and then going to the playoff champ in Kalpa, and then we're going to play against Saipa, who was the runner-up. So we knew there was going to be a tough schedule, especially going on the road, but what a great test for us. So we've been preparing for that in the preseason games and everything else, and I think obviously getting away with 6 points in those games is a good receipt, a little bit where we're at right now with the process, but tough games, good teams, obviously ecstatic the way that, obviously we got the points, but also how we played it. I think we played very well, put together road games, so overall pretty pleased.
Let's dive deeper into this season, but first let's talk a little bit about this summer. How was your summer?
It was good. It was nice to have some time off. It was nice to get away from everything and spend some time with the family. Quality time with family is always important. So I spent some time in Finland. We drove around in Finland quite a bit and checked in places that we haven't been visiting. Obviously, I visited a lot of ice rinks and all over Finland, but I haven't really spent some time away from those. So it's nice to do a little road trip with the family and see that, and then obviously spend some time in the U.S. as well. I think obviously we had quite a bit of time after the season was done because it ended up pretty early. So we had some time down here of assessing a little bit where we're at, a little bit of reflection for myself and a reflection for the coaching staff and also us as an organization. So I think that was just healthy. And after we made some conclusions and obviously when you have a season like that, like we had last year, of course you're going to try to draw some conclusions and trying to find ways of making it better. And a lot of times you're talking about, after every season, good or bad, you always sit down and you try to get better. And a few of the conclusions we had is just we need to get bigger. We need to get stronger in a sense of the league is a tough league, but also when you get into the end of the season, that we have some players that have some size and can play a heavy game. And you add that on with some skills, like I think we added some skills too when it comes to playmaking, especially when scoring goals. So that's a good combination. So every game you can beat them either through having some power and some size, and you can beat them through skills as well. What kind of game do you want to play? That was a big thing for me. Also, when you look at the defensemen, we have defensemen who can move the puck, who can join the rush, they can skate, they can play the aggressive way they want to play. So that's a check mark too. We've been running some really good players in that sense as well. And then obviously our goaltending tandem has proven many times that they're very good goalies. So I think overall we done some really good due diligence when bringing the team in. Set aside that they have a lot of Tampere connections as well on the team. And then also that what happened after December 28th or whatever in the first place. I mean, we have huge infections on the team, and going through that and having so many players gone for so long, we need to have an action plan to deal with that as well. And that's the reason why I think this is why I love to work for Tappara. How can we make it better? And one of the things that Tappara organization has done, we hired an infection doctor. So we have an action plan together with the infection doctor, how we can make it better this year so we don't get hit as hard as we did last year. So that's another thing. And us coaches, we're obviously looking at the game plan and what are the things that we can do differently when it comes to the game plan. And one big thing for us was the transition game. We need to create more on the transition. And I think we even shown the first couple of games just that we work quite a bit on it. And also getting those players that can play in that type of game as well. So those were few things that we identified, and I think we're trying to make better this year than last year. So I'm looking forward to keep chipping away at it. I'm going to come down there every morning and trying to help the players to achieve whatever they want to achieve.
When you analyzed last season and there were some changes to coaching staff, what kind of guys are Ante and Poppe for those that probably don't know them before?
Good questions. I think number one, there was a need for us to bring in coaches because Pasi Pusla left for Bird, so we had a chance for us to make a little bit of a adjustment to the coaching staff, and then when we really what I wanted was to have a coach with some head coaching experience that's been there, made some decisions, and for me to get a little bit challenged on certain things. So when Ante's name came up, I never worked with Ante before, but I did due diligence on him and called around and very positive with him as a person as well as a coach. So and then we were looking at obviously more of replacing Passi with his role of defensive side of the puck. We had a couple of Finnish coaches that kind of fell through it, and when everything was said and done, with those guys that wasn't the right fit at that moment. So I called up my old assistant coach from the national team as well as Zurich, and he's kind of had been retiring, but kind of was looking a little bit. So after discussing with him, it kind of worked out, and I'm really pleased with that because he's a very good coach, and at that position we're kind of looking at a player type of profile, a guy that played at the highest level, obviously with Popovic has been playing in NHL and national team and world championships and so forth. So I think we filled those needs, and we made a little bit of adjustments, and obviously Johan and Pasi are back, or Johan and Aki are back. So I'm pretty excited about having them back. So some consistency there as well as for our coaching staff, and so that some good moves, and I think we strengthened our positions like we wanted.
It seems like there's a good chemistry in the team, probably in the coaching staff as well. But you speak a lot about different phases that the team goes throughout the season. Now it's early, 2 games down, and so on. But how do you see the group as of now, as a team? What kind of team do you have?
Well, it's still kind of a little bit of forming phase in a group process. I still think that the guys are pretty excited to come down there every day and see each other and all that stuff. And I think that's important. I agree with you. I think the chemistry on the team is really good. And also, if you looked at the way that we recruited the team too, was quite a bit of consistency. We wanted players mostly from this area, and we have quite a bit of players from the Tampere area who are close by. So we were pretty pleased with that because I think it's easy for those guys that know each other since before and all that stuff. And we're very particular with the imports we brought in, that they have good character and good teammates and everything else. And I'm not saying that we're bad last year by any means, but it's more of consistency in the lineup. So I agree with you. I think that it's really important that when you get into a season that you have guys that stick into each other and play hard for each other and all that stuff. So those are good check marks as of right now. But I think we're gonna go in a little bit later in the season too and see if we can be consistent in our messaging as a coaching staff and for the players to stay on task and stay focused on the right things.
How do you see the season? It's a long regular season in Liiga, 60 games. What kind of phases are there? Is this season divided into some steps or midterms that you want to achieve, or?
Well, I'm a firm believer in looking at the group process because there's a lot of things as we saw last year that can happen during the season. So the group process of the forming stage, and then you have the norming stage when you're getting into the normal procedure, normal process. Coming down here, we have practices. Guys knows the routine, so it's kind of more the routine phase of a group process, and then you go into storming because it's always going to happen. Some storming situations could be we lose a game, maybe we lose 2 in a row. What do we do then? And obviously it's going to be internal storming phases too with the players. Okay, I'm not playing in certain situation. Why I'm not playing? So they get a little bit of storming as well. But the biggest thing is that we get back to norming so we can get into performing stage, and that's the state or the phase of the group process we want to be in most. But the only way to get out of storming is you have to be norming, and norming is the everyday routine and working on right things, working together as units, all those things that we as coaches would love to talk about because we talk about the process. But those are kind of the different stages you have on the team, and set aside if it's November or October or whenever the first storming phase happens, you need to be ready to face that and get back into the routines.
Yeah. After last season, there's no CHL this season. What kind of hole does it leave?
Well, to start with the bad thing, I mean, obviously, this is the first time I've been on a team that haven't qualified for CHL, so it's tough. You you're a little bit lost because now, you know, you've already been through, you know, a few rounds in that CHL, get ready for the regular season and Liga. So it's a little bit different in that sense, you know, and it's always good when you can represent the country in best on best tournament. So that was tough for us not to qualify for that this year. However, as I said, when it comes to training and stuff, it's a different story because you can get into training, you can prepare yourself for Liga way better in the sense of working the guys pretty hard on and off ice, working in, especially when we have so many new players, of getting them into the system and work on those details in practice. So you always got to look at the glass half full a little bit in those type of situations. So when stuff happens, and I think we made best of it. So you know, I think we're ready to go now when Liga starts.
There's always one ultimate goal in Tappara, to win. But what kind of game do you want to see Tappara playing this season?
I think we already made a statement, you know, at least the years I've been here, about the huge culture of winning in Tappara. And then there are different ways to win it, but we want to be a very aggressive, we want to be a very active team out there. We want to play with speed. I think, you know, when someone goes and pays the tickets to go and watch a hockey game, you want to see effort. You want to see players always give the best. And those are the things, those are the few things that we're every day trying to deliver, especially in games, but also in practice. Full effort. We have an active game. We play very, very aggressive, and you know, you're going to see that now when we get into Liga season.